Hey, Chris.
Hello. Oh, hey. Sorry.
Good to see
How
you.
you doing?
Yeah, good. How about
Chris
you?
Bumbray. Good. Chris Bumbray, JOBLO.com. So yeah, I guess I'll get started then. So Jason, one of the things I've always really admired about your career is that you've always kind of chosen kind of I want to say eclectic, idiosyncratic type roles. You know, a lot of really interesting stuff over your careers.
Thanks.
But I find that a movie like Our Friend, if it had been done in kind of a less intelligent way, it could have maybe been a cheesy movie. How did you know going into Our Friend that it would be as elevated as it is and as sophisticated and moving as it is?
Yeah, thank you. That's a really good question because you don't always know. Some of it is a leap of faith, and that's usually for me has a lot to do with who you're going to be working with. And so Gabby came from our director Gabrielle Copperwaite came from a documentary, and so I talked a lot with her about her shooting style and what she wanted to do, and a huge focus of hers was capturing the reality of the situation, not the
Yeah.
melodrama of the situation. She wanted the camera to feel fly in the wall, like documentary style. So that was interesting to me. And then when Dakota and Casey signed on, I had no doubt that I was going to be challenged and surrounded by better actors than me, which is also always a really good
Mhm.
thing. Like if it's an ensemble and I'm the best actor in the group, then it's not going to be as good as if I'm being challenged, you know?
I actually saw it back at TIFF back in 2019, and I honestly thought it was going to come out on like 2,000 screens. That'd be this huge movie. A couple things happened since then, though. And but I want to ask you though, in another era, I feel like this would have been a mainstream movie. But nowadays, it seems like everybody's pivoting more towards tentpoles. How do you find things like this keep getting made, and how do you yourself, I mean, using your power as a bankable person, get things like this that mean something and that will have a staying impact made?
I this is not a deflecting answer. I actually think I'm just not as strategic as that.
Hmm.
I read the scripts, and uh, there's only so much I get offered that
Hmm.
I think that like falls in the category we're talking about. It's
Right.
been there's a lot of people who want to do this kind of role, a lot of
Yeah.
dudes, and I sort of entered in my mid 30s, trying to do these kind of movies. So it's been an interesting few years of being someone who's on that list,
Yeah.
who gets sent to. Um, and then I spend a little time thinking about if I'd actually be good at it,
Hmm.
like the part. Um, and then I hope for the best, and I guess I have some self-awareness that I've done some big movies that help get a movie made this size. But I actually try not to think too much about it because I don't like the idea that there is like probably an actual numerical value to my name.
No.
You know what I mean? It just something about it doesn't feel right.
All right, man. Well, thanks a lot. I mean, I actually really loved it, so I hope
Hey,
that a lot of
thanks a
people see it.
lot.
It was a
I'm
beautiful
really
film.
excited about it.
Yeah, it was a beautiful movie. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much. Good to see
Bye.
you.
Take
Yeah.
care. Yeah, it's Chris Bumbray for JoBlo.com. How you doing?
Hey, Chris, how are you?
I'm good. You? All right, so I guess I'll get started. I really love this movie, man. I saw it at TIFF actually back in 2019, and I was really excited for it to finally come out. Stuff happened, of course, and really glad it's finally getting out there. So I got to ask, the first question that I have is that a movie like this, I think in the wrong hands could have probably been, I wouldn't say overly sentimental, but maybe somewhat saccharine. But I think what's great about a movie like this, especially because it's based on a true story, you guys really nailed it. And I love that it had a female director examining kind of this male friendship story, right? I thought that brought a really unique vibe to the film. So can you talk a little bit about how you guys got involved with Gabriella and how the movie turned out as well as it did?
Well,
Gabby was the person that was directing the movie already, and when she brought it to me, I talked to her, and I just loved her immediately, and that was that.
Yeah.
I thought she was great, and you know, I don't know how many movies I've done, but each time becomes a little more important to a bigger factor in my decision about what jobs I'm going to do is sort of what the people are like. Do I like them? Am I going to like this experience? And you never really know, but at least to try to follow that hunch. So I felt that way about Gab. And what was the other part of the question?
Well, just it could have been saccharine, I think, with the
Right.
wrong person handling it, but it's not. I mean, it's very emotional and it's very moving, but it's also very realistic. You know, look, if a studio was to do it, I feel like the troubled aspects of the marriage probably wouldn't have ended up in the movie, right? It felt like something that would have probably been glossed over. I think, anyway. I don't know. I might be wrong, but was that important to you guys though, especially because it's based on Matthew's life to get it legit and to get it real and to get it accurate?
Yeah, well, I knew reading the script that tonally it was going to be a difficult juggling act. That Gabriella was going to have to try to find a way to make one movie out of about 6 different tones. It is sometimes a buddy comedy, sometimes it's a romantic comedy, sometimes it's a comedy, and sometimes it's just a very sad drama. It was important to not let it become melodrama. But tonally, this movie's different than other stuff that I've done for whatever reason. It is really kind of silly at times, lighthearted at times, and in ways that I just, Jason was much better at doing that stuff, and I had to kind of follow,
No, you were great, man. You guys were great together.
Yeah, thanks. He's really fun to work with.
Okay, well, I mean, last thing I want to ask you is one of the things that really kind of surprised me, I think in a negative way when the movie came out, was that some critics seem almost uncomfortable with being moved by things. I don't think they like to feel vulnerable and emotional when they watch it. And I was wondering, as a guy who's done a lot of movies like Manchester by the Sea, things that are very kind of taxing in a way, is that a tenor that you've sometimes noticed from people, that they sometimes resist being moved at all by anything?
I think sometimes what happens is that if they feel like they're being moved, they're okay with it if it is a sort of bleak movie. Yeah. But if there's a lighthearted element to it, if the movie looks sort of colorful, if there's some comedy in it, and then people tend to feel like, oh wait, am I being manipulated? Is this I don't know why. If it's considered a sort of quote unquote serious movie or something, it's okay to, if you're watching Alfonso Cuarón's amazing Roma,
yeah,
people will cry their eyes out. I was bawling, but no one said, there wasn't a criticism of that. They were okay being moved in that situation because it had the patina of being a very serious auteur film. This wasn't exactly like that. Gabby didn't want to do that. She wanted to have something that was also made you laugh, or that seemed silly at times. She was very fast and loose with the tone of it in a nice way. And I think people, sometimes at film festivals, they think it's not serious. It doesn't have enough gravitas, and they're sort of just undermining the levitas so I'm not sure why totally, but I think that also a year and a half ago was a very different time than it is right now. And this is the kind of movie that is the value of a cathartic experience in the movie theater, I think is much higher now. I think being able to sit with one story, to watch it, and to connect with it, and to be moved, and I think is probably going to be the kind of experience that people, and might be sort of reparative for some people. It might be nice and healing in a way that last, in 2018 or something, people weren't feeling that way.
Well, thank you very much. I really enjoyed it. Truly, I thought it was terrific.
Sorry I took up all your time with the long
answer.
answer.
Hey, no, thank you. Great answer. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
All right. Nice talking to you. See you, Chris.
Take care, man. Bye.